What's going on, Moon Gang? I hope that you're having a good one. In this video, I want to talk about what is the best way to get a stock to shoot straight to the moon. Should we be buying shares of the company or should we be buying options? On top of that, I also want to share a few quick thoughts of short volume data, and make sure you stick around until the end because I'll be going over the most up-to-date and recent short interest numbers for both AMC and GameStop. Just for a little bit of basis on this video, I'm currently filming it on Sunday, April 18th. And as of now, AMC is trading at $9.36, while GameStop, aka GME, is trading at $161. All right, so let's talk about the absolute best way to get a stock to shoot straight to the moon. For the purpose of this discussion, let's get a little bit of terminology out of the way. A short squeeze, if you check it out, Google it, Investopedia, basically what it's going to tell you is a short squeeze is when there's a lot of people betting against a stock and their prediction is wrong, and in turns there's a lot of other people buying the stock and it ends up going upward. So the people who were betting against it, they eventually hit their risk tolerance, so they're forced to cover their position. And mechanically, when you cover your position, if you're short, that means that you actually have to buy stock, and thus that's adding more buying pressure, causing the stock to go up a bit more. Eventually, this could cause other shorts to hit their risk tolerance, and you can see how this snowballs out of hand. On the other hand, we've also heard the term a gamma squeeze. This relates a bit more to the options market. Basically, it's when there's quite a few out of the money call options and someone buys quite a few out of the money call options, and then the stock ends up trending upward, which means that they go from out of the money to into the money. And these market makers, the people who originally sold the call options, basically it's a term referred to as like delta hedging, their delta exposure. Basically, it's a fancy term that these market makers need to protect their own risk, protect their own butt, because there might be a lot of people who choose to exercise the call options. So as all these call options go from out of the money to in the money, it forces market makers to buy the underlying stock, which adds more buying pressure, and thus that could help more out of the money go in the money. It's another snowballing thing that eventually drives the stock upward. So you have a short squeeze and a gamma squeeze, both cause a stock to go upward. And I don't have the exact stats on it, but I would be willing to wager that they commonly play into each other. A gamma squeeze can play into a short squeeze can play into a gamma squeeze, and vice versa. But the end result is that one relates to stocks, one relates to options, and they both have the effect of driving the stock or the underlying stock sky high. We also have to talk about two other axioms, and then I think I have an analogy that could better explain this whole situation and kind of share my opinion on like which one is quote unquote better to do. But in terms of these two other axioms, if you buy a stock at that moment in time, you are adding buying pressure, helping it go up. On the flip side, if you sell a stock, you're adding to the selling pressure and you're helping driving it down. The same cannot be said about the options market if we were to live in a vacuum, and that's a very important caveat. So if you were to buy a call, sell a call, buy a put, sell a put, you're not directly impacting the current price of the stock that this derivative, options are all derivatives, that this derivative is based on. Now, I said if we lived in a vacuum, that would be true, but so mechanically, if you buy any option, sell any option, you're not impacting the stock. But there is a scenario, and because all this options data is public, for example, AMC trading at $9.36, and for some reason, we saw whales coming in and just buying as many call options as they could at $10, $11, $12 for whatever expiration date. It does have a psychological impact of like, well, hey, that's a lot of money. Maybe they know something that we don't, so I want to buy call options. Or maybe I don't want to deal with theta decay or options in general, so it causes me to buy the underlying stock. So like many things in the stock market, the argument is a lot more complex and there's multiple layers to it. But in the end, we don't live in a vacuum, so it does have that impact. And I think this analogy might do a better job at explaining the whole scenario. So let's say that a gigantic fire is equivalent to a stock going sky high, going to the moon, past the moon. That's the end result. So we're looking for a gigantic fire. I would say that in this scenario, buying options, specifically out of the money call options, is equivalent to gasoline, while buying stock is the match. As you can see where I'm going with this, that if you just have gasoline and no fire at all, you're not going to get anywhere. But on the flip side, there is an argument that if you just have a match, yeah, of course you can make a giant fire. But it's way, way easier and you'll do it way more rapidly if you also have gasoline. So in my opinion, I think that there is no, oh, like this one's better than this one. I honestly, truly believe that they play off of each other, and you kind of need a combo of the two. Once again, these are just my own opinions. I'm in no way a financial advisor. Please do your own due diligence on this whole situation. But just to my understanding of the stock market, of the options market, they play into each other. And all of us are in AMC and GameStop for the whole concept of them going as high as possible. And with that, I truly, truly believe that we're going to need some sort of combination of the two. I don't think that one is better than the other. But in that scenario, just remember, buying stocks is the match. Buying options is the gasoline, and the end result, we just want a gigantic fire. So that's my thoughts on what's better of how to actually get a stock to squeeze. I think we need a combo of the two. And now I saw a little bit of discussion about going on with short volume. This is on Fintel. A lot of people like to look at the short volume. I just wanted to give a little bit of caution about using this as a data point. It is commonly considered to be, I guess, quote unquote, dirty data. So for example, on Friday the 16th, AMC, it had a trading volume of just over 40 million, and 15 million of that was short volume. This is dirty data and a little bit misleading because we don't know what percentage of these 15 million shorts were legitimate shorts. Because we live in a world now where a lot of liquidity is provided by high frequency trading. For example, if you were trying to sell AMC, a share of AMC at $10, a high frequency trading algorithm, and I mean, these things fire in nanoseconds, milliseconds, very, very fast. They might see that order. They might see that someone else is in at 10:01. So they might short at 10:01 and then buy your share at 10. So they're really just providing liquidity. This honestly could deserve a video of its own. But basically, I would argue that it's not really bullish. It's not really bearish. They just provide liquidity, and they're a non-zero percentage number portion of this overall number. So with that, we don't know how, out of this 50 million, we don't know how much of it is just high frequency traders providing liquidity versus like legitimate shorts, an actual hedge fund saying, no, I want to short whatever, 1 million. And because of that, like, I'm going to swing it, I'm going to short it, and we hold. We just don't know the percentage. And honestly, it probably switches per day. And that's why I think short volume data is a little bit misleading. And that's why if I'm personally trying to track the short interest or really what's going on, how is it trending, I think the shares on loan is probably the most valuable data we can use in this situation, which actually brings me right into the current numbers going on. Let's kick it off with AMC. So on Friday, April 16th, the short entrance, like once again, another record high. AMC's went up by 1.43%, and the estimated short interest is 22.5%. So when I was talking about like the best data point, this is where we need to talk about utilization and shares on loan. Remember, AMC has a free float, as in the shares that you and I can trade, of about 400 million shares. As of now, it was 145 million heading into Friday, but as you can see here, 2 million more were borrowed. So that means on loan. And remember, on loan doesn't mean that they're definitively short betting against the market, but you don't really pay a borrow fee without shorting it. So I would say a high percentage of these are actually short on the market. And then utilization is just a percentage. The max value is 100%. It's how many are willing to be lent and then how many are actually borrowed and taken on loan. So out of that pool, out of the entire pool of ones that are willing to be lent, about 99% starting off on Friday were taken and were actually on loan. And then I would assume we're either at 99 point something or 100%. We've almost maxed this out. These are sky high. So not only are the numbers trending upward, they've been incredibly trending upward ever since Thursday, March 18th. And we're just continually breaking the previous day's record. The amount of money and shares betting against AMC is, to put it blatantly, is the highest we've ever seen it. Sky high. So remember, even with that, coming back to my examples of a short squeeze and a gamma squeeze, all the people are betting against it. And now we're at the situation where we need some bullish follow through in the price action to capture these shorts, which could lead to a short squeeze. And then that could lead to a gamma squeeze, which could lead to a bigger short squeeze. That's the scenario we're currently in. But right now, an extra 2 million. So I would estimate we're somewhere around at least 147 million shares on loan on AMC that could be betting against the company. In terms of GameStop, Friday was an incredible day. The short interest actually went up by 4.24%. The current estimated short interest is 26%. And the borrow change went up by about $500,000. The shares, the free float, the shares that you and I could trade for GameStop is around 45 million. It's actually almost a tenth of AMC's. It's a lower float company. So the shares on loan right now is roughly 14 million if we were to add these two together. And the utilization is almost a third of AMC's. It's 31%. So that's just a situation in the pool of shares that like people are willing to lend out, only a third of them are actually being borrowed by most likely some other hedge fund. That's how you can interpret this data. But it also shows the importance of why you need all three. You need the utilization number, you need the shares on loan number, and then obviously we all care about the short interest. So all three are kind of a piece of the puzzle that tells you the entire story. So that's what's going on with the short interest numbers for both GameStop, AMC. We kind of went over on, I just want to caution you on using this short volume data. That data, it's just kind of dirty. It's dirty. It's not as straightforward as it seems. And then we obviously also talked about the main thing of this video of should you be buying shares or options. I would argue that a combination of the two is most beneficial for getting a stock to go absolutely to the moon. I didn't plan on talking about this, but I just want to interject one little thing. Something that I'm seeing on YouTube, Reddit, and Twitter is this argument of X is a distraction from Y. My opinion on that is just I don't agree. In the sense that like we're in a scenario where maybe Y isn't moving at all and X is. So why not try to make money off of X, and then that will give you more firepower, more ammo to get into Y, to get Y to move in the direction that you want it to. The name of the game is to get these things to move, and if they're not moving, one of the best ways to get it to move is you just need more firepower. So if X can give you more firepower, I think it would be a bit silly to not take advantage of that opportunity. But once again, these are just my own opinions. For this entire video, I do implore you to do your own due diligence, your own research, because I am in no way a financial advisor. If you enjoyed this video, I would really, really appreciate it if you could help me out with the YouTube algorithm by leaving a comment, dropping a like, and most importantly, hitting that subscribe button. If you don't want to miss any of the technical update videos such as this one or the Monday to Friday live streams, you can also go over to that bell icon, click on it, and switch it to always, and then you'll get a notification whenever there's a new piece of content. Also, if you want to use this trading platform absolutely free trades, and you also get 2 free stocks, all you have to do is sign up for Webull and then deposit $100. The link is in the description of this video. Until I catch you next time, best of luck in the markets.